All right, folks, thanks very much for coming along, and thanks. Oh, yeah, okay. And thanks to Artlink for inviting me to give this. This is just a wee informal chat. It's not an academic talk or by any means. And I'd like to thank Karen as well. Myself and Karen have been sort of working together, corresponding for a few years. So Karen's got a great interest in, obviously, her interest is the OS, the Ordnance Survey, and the local connection. So, but anyway, we'll begin with this. As I say, this is only a sort of a light-hearted, not an academic talk by any means. So the first slide is Mahil Sculpt. This is a photoshopped image of a proposed sculpture project that never came to fruition. It was the brainchild of the great Irish sculptor Maurice Hearn, and it was to be entitled Mahil Sculpt. It was to be a sculptural representation of a meeting of clan chiefs on the top of Sculpt Mountain, which is located about 20 kilometres southeast of here. One of the advantages for clans for meeting on the top of the mountains was obviously it would be hard to launch a surprise attack against them uphill, and any would-be attacker would be seen. But the main reason for meeting on top of mountains was that each clan chief could see their own territory and could discuss and divide who owned what. So the reason we've shown you that is the Irish people, the Gaels, had no need of maps. They didn't use maps. As somebody said one time, they didn't think in squares. The concept of maps was alien to the Irish. They looked at the lie of the land. This is a Richard Bartlett map from about 1600. During the 9 Years' War between England and Hugh O'Neill, the Irish under Hugh O'Neill, a great effort was made to map Ireland. And subsequently we have some of the best maps and early maps of Ireland. It was said that Ireland had the best maps because it was so troublesome to the English. And one of Elizabeth's best map makers, Richard Bartlett, was sent to map what is now Cheerconnell, southwest central Donegal. He was described by UCC Professor William Smith as the greatest artist cartographer ever to work in Ireland. Richard Bartlett's life ended violently in an unexplored part of the county sometime between 1603 and 1609, when it was reported by Sir John Davies that when he came to Cheerconnell, the inhabitants took off his head because they would not have their country discovered. So it didn't end well for him when the O'Boyles did not take kindly to maps of their territory being made. They knew the value of the maps to the English. And as Elizabeth Bowen, the writer, put it, only the dispossessed people know their lands in the dark. So this era of map making is obviously it's very interesting because you had the first sort of accurate maps, which were, and obviously they had information deemed relevant to the English army. The maps themselves were sometimes inaccurate, but nevertheless, they're fascinating artistic endeavours and time capsules. Things like this here, Richard Bartlett's map of Sligo. Here he has, it's kind of hard to see there, but you can read it there. The high hills of Benbulben, where yearly lumbereth a falcon esteemed the hardiest in Ireland. So a wee bit of early ornithology there. So this is a fairy map of Sligo. This was produced, I think, by Bartlett as well. And it shows the county, South County, it's orientated to the east and shows the south, Sligo Bay, South Donegal Bay, it's just the way it's orientated there. The cartographer has included any information he deemed relevant to the English commanders of the invading army. And in it he has included some fairy lore. Well, in this case, hosts of fairies can be seen on the plains and the slopes of Benbulben. The text reads like witness depositions taken from high-ranking English military officers, except what they claim to have seen with their own eyes, troops of fairies engaged in battle on the northern facing slopes of the Ox Mountains. So you can see some of the stuff. This is in this bog where the golden sun is placed. There's a scene in every hot summer, strange fighting of battles, sometimes with foot troops, sometimes with horse, sometimes castles seen, sometimes woods, and sometimes great store of cows driving and fighting for them. This hath been certainly seen by Sir George Bingham and Sir Francis Bartlett and divers others in their company of good credit. So it was a strange thing to put on maps, but here's another one here, Clan Dara O'Donnell, camped by this loch where his men did see two water horses of a huge bigness Water horses are creatures not unlike Loch Ness Monster, which are said to live in lakes and sometimes referred to as kelpies in Scotland. And finally, this one here, this is Inishowen, the holy island off Donegal Bay, completing a triad of paranormal accounts. This one involved the island's infamous coursing stones, which amazingly are still to be displayed. They're still there on the outdoor altar. It says, in this island where dwelleth a holy man named O'Finton, of whom the country people hold a superstitious opinion that, if he be angry with anyone, he does turn speckled stones upon them, which he keepeth for that use, and they shall die within that year. So it's interesting. This is this map here. I think this is a French map. No, sorry, it's an English map there. And the interesting thing about this is Inishowen. It's completely blank. There's nothing at all on it. So it's interesting that either the cartographer had no time to finish it, or he didn't find anything interesting there at all. So this one here now is a detail from John Speed's Kingdoms of Great Britain and Ireland. You can see a very large sea monster just off Malin Head there. And also there's another one off Malin Head. Another one, this one looks a bit like a Labrador, but and another one. So there's some more maps and charts showing sea monsters off Inishowen. This is the Herman Mole map, which is, you can see over by Dunfanaghy direction there. It says, this is a map of the northern part of Ireland, the northern counties of Ireland, and it's usually sea monsters, but in this case it says a place where the water howls, which may have been a blowhole or something, but it's interesting to see it on a map. That's just directly due west here, beyond the Na Gaeilge mountains, just over there. So this is the Hall Parsons map of 1661. Since we're in Dunree, we might as well have a look at it. It was drawn up in 1609 or 1611, but wasn't published until 1661, I think, because of a dispute about church lands. Church of Ireland, or established church, claimed ownership of church land, but your man up in the corner there, Arthur Chichester, claimed Inishowen as his own piece of Ireland, while other areas were planted Scots and English. But it's a fascinating map in many ways, because the details on it, the town land names, for example, it's not very clear on there, but the town land names are still the same, and they haven't changed in 400 years, so it's reasonable to assume they hadn't changed in 400 years before that. And also the town of Buncrana is shown on the north bank of the River Crana, where before Vaughan demolished it and used the material to build Buncrana Castle and the Six Arch Bridge at Castle Bridge in 1718. And then he moved the town to the south bank, out of view of his manor house. The keep is shown on it there, as well as some other two-storey buildings. Carrigabrahe is also shown on there. It's shown to have extensive fortifications and a smaller castle stuck beside it. The monastic site is also shown. Some monastic sites marked on it with a cross, including the monastic site here, Dunree, known as Killard, which John maybe tell you more about. So next one is, this is Vera McFadden's map of Dunree, and the reason for that, and she's got lots of wee town names on it, but she also has Port Ban, which is the bay just directly over the hill here, marked as Crummie's Bay, or Port Ban. So was Dunree Head, she's called it Dunree Head, but Dunree Head may have been known by a different name in the past. The original name of Dunree Head and the bay is known as Port Ban. It seems to have been called Crommie Head in the past. Crom, or Cromdhu, is the ancient pagan Irish god who St. Patrick fought with on Croagh Patrick. There's some examples of the name Crommie Head. This is a French map, I think. And here you can see Crommie Head, Dunree, and then you've Crommie Head marked up above it. So there's another one. This is the Ordnance Survey map, and you see Crummie's Bay or Port Ban there, hedging their bets. They're both on there. That's the old Admiralty chart from 1901. Again, they have Crommie Bay or Port Ban marked on it. And this is William Smith's drawing of Dunree Head from the water. William Smith was the Royal Navy. He's probably, at the time, the Royal Navy's best draftsman and artist. He was here 1798-1802 surveying Lough Swilly and making recommendations for the fortifications of Lough Swilly in light of the possibility of a French invasion centred on Lough Swilly. This stemmed from the Battle of Torry, when a French fleet under the command of Bompard with Wolfe Tone on board La Huche engaged an English squadron under the command of Warren at the mouth of Lough Swilly. Smith was an excellent artist and draftsman. He made many excellent ink and wash, as well as beautiful watercolour drawings and sketches of places around the shores of Lough Swilly. His drawings of Dunree Head, viewed from various aspects. Dunree Head was his favourite place to draw, and he always referred to it as Crommy Head. So he could only have got that from the locals, so we must assume that that was the name was Crommy Head. And this is the modern Admiralty chart, where they call it Crommy Bay. This is an ancient map of Ireland. This is a French map too. It's a map of medieval Ireland. It's called the Ancient Ireland in the Middle Ages. And there's a few interesting things on this. One of them being Moylena with a sword, which indicates a battle. The Battle of Moylena was fought by Conn of the 100 battles. It's sort of supposedly the most bloody battle ever fought in antiquity. It's supposed to be he fought a boy called Mo Nougat, or sometimes he was referred to as Owen or Owen Moore. So, but on that map also you can see Steve Snack is called Mount Cromla, which is interesting. I don't know if that was an ancient name for Mount Cromla for Steve Snack. So there's another one there. They have Steve Snack. They also had it called Ossian's Mountain. Another one where Steve Snack's moved a bit further south, but it's also called Ossian's Mountain. Although that may be scalped there. So there's another one there with the east of, or the west of Inishowen is called Tuck Crana. So the next one is, this is a map from New England of Thomas Jeffries. It's printed on linen, and you can see it looks like it's been very badly folded up. But what it is, it's actually been cut into squares, into rectangles, sorry, and each rectangle is used. It's a map that was used by an immigrant to navigate his way around New England, New Hampshire, and Rhode Island, and so on. The map is cut into identical sized rectangular pieces, so that the entire map doesn't need to be produced or folded. It was just carried in the pocket, and the relevant section could be consulted when needed. It's a bit like Google Maps, where you center in as you drive along. So anyway, I'm just going to come now to this, the final map, which is this one. This is a Luftwaffe map of Derry. This was a navigator's chart or map of the Luftwaffe, the German Air Force during the Second World War. And you see up in the corner there, it's marked 27th of March 1941. That's about 10 days before there was a bombing raid on Derry. And this map came from, I got a loan of a copy of this map from the Tower Museum in Derry, where they have the original map, which was posted to them from a guy in Norway who thought it was the correct place for it to be. But it's interesting that it has the port, Foyle Port, or the river, marked in red, where there were the Germans, the Luftwaffe, were attempting to drop parachute mines into the port to disable the port, because it was such an important port for the battle of the Atlantic and the war against the U-boats and so on. But it's dated, as you can see, 27th, about 10 days before the raid took place. But I just thought it would be a nice one to finish up with. There's a story in the Tower Museum about this map as well, or about the time this happened. There was a woman on the waterside when the bombing raid was taking place. She ran to her neighbours and she said, "What's all the noise about?" And he said, "Oh, it's the Germans are bombing Pennyburn." And she said, "Thank God for that. I thought it was thunder and lightning, and I'm very afraid of thunder and lightning." But anyway, folks, that's it. That's just a quick wee run through some maps and charts. So thanks very much for your time and your attention.